You learn to live and live to learn in what has turned out to be an unprecedented situation, an unprecedented pandemic, with history being written across the geography of Mother Earth. And a minor virus has created a major catastrophe. While all progress necessitates change, it's important to understand and consider that all change does not lead to progress. And that's what makes the situation rather unique, rather ambiguous, rather uncertain, and the need to find certainty. Amidst the challenges, there'll always be solutions. Amidst solutions, there'll always be better solutions, which means whatever you do to formate the new normal, it will constantly remain a work in progress. And that's why we at edumate.tv are building an ecosphere between every single stakeholder, the teacher, the parent, the counselor, and of course, the principals, the vice chancellors, the government, the educrats, the edupreneurs, to try and understand how definitive will be the new normal and what will be the best way forward. Broadly, in a scenario like that, it's important to take opinions from all cross-sections of society to come out with what will be a 360-degree holistic solution. I welcome you once again to what is our special, a new normal with a theme of challenges, solutions, and of course, as always, new opportunities in the moment of crisis. This program is brought to you by edumate.tv. It's produced by Aheducation, which looks at education ahead. And I'm very proud to announce it's powered by a very special university which is doing a yeoman's service in the north of India, IMS Ghaziabad. So welcome to each and every one of you, very special guests who themselves, in their own ways, achieved so much in so little time. Let's take a look at all the achievements of our very dear guests. A lot's happening in the world of education across the world. Yeah, and that's the new normal definition. I'll get our first speaker, Professor Alok Pandit, to tell us the new normal at a time when our headlines state so many trends, so many conflicting ideas, so many decisions to be taken, so many policy changes being on the anvil, and so many thoughts.
One of the biggest challenge of digital learning actually is technology, So accidentally I pushed a button which put my computer on and off mode. So I had to switch on again. Thankfully, these are modern computers who can get switched on in a minute, not even in a minute, right? But Chetan, the biggest problem today is, the challenge today is how technology reaches people. We are seeing now an upswing in purchases of laptops by companies. We are seeing upswing in purchases of mobile phones by companies. Whether Indian manufacturing will be able to match the demand. And of course, with a country of 1.4 billion people, I'll say gross enrollment ratio of around 25 to 26%. What we need is that around 20% of this number would mean around 20 crore people would need access to these equipment, technology, bandwidth, and that I think is a major challenge. Entrepreneurship requires a service mindset. You are an entrepreneur yourself. What are you doing? You are trying to solve a problem, and you come out with a solution that if people are digitally connected, and if suppose television channels are not finding viewership on through cable mode, the digital mode is the best way out, and the digital way through several platforms is a great idea. So J.R.D. Tata once said, common people have appetite for food, uncommon people have appetite for service. Sadly, in our country, our young students do not have appetite for service right from the beginning. You talk to any topper. I heard all the toppers of class 12th yesterday. Ask them a question. What do you want to do? They say, I wish to appear in the UPSC civil services exam. Why are we trying to convert, again, as I always say, our students into clerks? And that is a mindset which needs to change. A service mindset has to come, and the need for power in school systems has to reduce. students are taught that power is everything, and once you get into a civil service, you will become this, that. So I think, the challenge of another issue would be this requires critical thinking. So I'd say, if I sum up 2 or 3 points, which I have said now: availability of technology to every individual, which is a large populous nation; change of mindset from school levels; focus on research at undergraduate level; spend more on research and education. India spends like 3% of GDP on education and 0.69% of GDP on research. This number has to, if you compare China's 11 trillion GDP, India's 2.5 trillion GDP, China spends around 5% of GDP on education, and similar amount on 2.5% on research. But that is for $11 trillion, $12 trillion. We've just got 2.5 trillion GDP, and we have 140 crore people, 1.4 billion people. India may well become a hub of global education. And of course, for the Asian region, we will not go to Singapore. Just see how Singapore has grown. They've got Nanyang Technological University, they've got National University of Singapore, and they are the best in the world. So somewhere India has to look into those. Merely following global rankings won't do. We need to work on the basics. If the basics come out well, probably we'll be a great country.
Day by day, we become normal with the current situation. And we are being immune, I think, to fight with such pandemics since last almost 5 months. Let me tell you, my dear friends, the corona may come and go, but the life must go on. And we need to move forward with lots of precautions, positivism, and proactiveness. We as an institution of higher education have taken this challenge and tried to convert it into lots of opportunities since last March 2020. Let me tell you, my dear friends, we as an institution of higher education, higher learning, have tried our best to continue the learning process for our stakeholders through different alternative methods. Despite the fact that it may not replace the physical classroom learning, if I point out few challenges because of this COVID-19 pandemic. One, let me tell you, this online learning is here to stay. We need to get prepared for this. We here at IMS Ghaziabad has completed all our classes, examinations, other formalities of last academic year with the help of online platforms, and have also started the online classes for our existing batch students from today through online platforms. I must thank all our stakeholders, especially the students and their parents who have supported in this process since March 2020. Second challenge, more Indian students will stay home in India. Third, the effects of shrinking global economy. Fourth, the new trends in teaching and learning will emerge that we have to adapt. A call for greater global collaboration between students, academia, and industry is going to happen. The last but not the least, will educators rise to this challenge? I must compliment all our faculty members, those who have rose up to this challenge and have fulfilled all the expectations of students and stakeholders.
For me, I think one of the biggest challenges, which I think Dr. Pandey has sketched, is technology and its availability. India still does not have a lot of internet connectivity as much as it should have been. For example, I think the internet penetration is still below 50% in India. Now, we have been talking about the opportunities that COVID has thrown up, keeping in mind the students who have access to internet and technology. But what about that bottom of the pyramid, which does not have access to technology, which does not have an internet connection, which has brains, which has talent, but which is unable to continue their education since March 2020 onwards? So I think there is a need for us as a society, us as a government, to think about that challenge, that this bottom of pyramid, if we wish to bridge that divide, which divides the haves and have-nots in education, then that divide cannot be broadened any further. And we must find ways, cheaper technology, accessing them. I think one of the steps that IMS Ghaziabad has taken in the leadership of Dr. Pandey is that we have tied up with the CSC Academy, and we have started delivering a course which is very affordable and a very high quality course on computer education to reach the rural masses. First of all, online classes, online examinations, doing them is one thing. But we as educators have known for long that everybody has a very unique learning style. Now, learning styles differ across individuals. Somebody might be able to learn from reading, somebody likes learning from writing, somebody likes learning from audio visual. And these learning styles are very, very different. It's scientifically been established that people might have a predilection towards one or the other learning style. Now, what COVID has done is there is one learning style which is being foisted upon all. It is not being customized, it's only AV. So I think going forward, the institutions need to think about creating a system wherein it's not just AV learning. There is content which is emailed to the students which they can read. There are opportunities where they can write, so that the variations in learning styles, I mean, there are no discrimination just because somebody's learning style is not through AV.
My observation is that our government, that is particularly the government of Tamil Nadu and the Indian government, has said to go with online classes from elementary, even nursery to college levels.
As I delve into this topic, and I would like to just start off with my exposition by saying that in the wake of COVID-19, the educators, the administrators, the service providers, parents, students around the world, they are feeling an extraordinary ripple effect of the novel coronavirus as the schools shut down amid public health emergency. And we are actually into a time when we are ushering into an era of tech-mediated education 4.0, where online mode of education was actually a default mode of education. But I think as of now, it is here to stay, and it is here to stay for good. So as Professor Pandey also mentioned, we need to focus on the basics. So first of all, I'll focus on the basics, that as of now, what we need to look at is that we don't need to, kind of look at the correct answers, but we need to look at the evidence of learning. Now, the process is going to become more important than the content. It is important for students to realize that it's important to know few things well rather than knowing a lot without understanding properly. And we also need to ensure that the curriculum is not purely academic. Rather, we have to have, an integrated and interdisciplinary based, broad-based kind of a curriculum. So, as far as normal schools were concerned, the school authorities well took care of, predators for children in the form of like pedophiles or other such people. But what about the cyber security concerns? We also need to take care of sanitation, social distancing norms. Teachers have to be trained for the same, the basic hygiene norms. And then also there are these huge lot of, stress, mental health issues on account of the social isolation that we are, going through. And I think there is a shadow epidemic which is actually growing under this pandemic. And that shadow epidemic is the, epidemic of panic, stress, hyper anxiety, which is both for students as well as for teachers. And I think most of the students, in order to stay in loop of the things, have, resorted to moving over to mobiles, computers, apps for tutorials, for entertainment, for education, everything, where there's no personal contact, hardly any personal interaction. And I think we need to have a curriculum readdressal, and there needs to be a whole lot of experimentation that keeps going on to the teachers. I mean, one day you're using one app, the next day you are told to be using another app. So you have to continuously keep experimenting. So which means as teachers, we need to be constantly on the go. We need to replace content with skills like the technical skills, the entrepreneurial skills, which again Professor Alok mentioned again. And then we need to look at continuous comprehensive evaluation. That's the 6C. And we need to look at outcomes which are tangible, which are achievable, which are measurable, which are pragmatic. So that's the 6C. And 7th, last but not the least, we have to look into core scholastic areas as well. We need to take care of the health awareness that children have. We need to look at the visual performing arts, entrepreneurship, life skills, communication skills. So I think this is the 7C approach, which I think if we go ahead with all these kinds of things, we can do far better. So we are damaged, but we are not doomed. That is for sure.
वैसे ठीक, एजुकेशन सेक्टर में आप सभी की बातें सही है कि बहुत ज़्यादा संभावनाएं हैं, बहुत बड़ा सेक्टर है, इसमें बहुत काम किया जा सकता है। मैं जैसे रूरल एरिया के अंदर पोस्टेड हूँ, तो मैंने जो समस्याएं देखी है वो ये है कि जब हम विश्वविद्यालय यूनिवर्सिटी की बात करते हैं तो वहाँ पे स्टूडेंट की एक्सेस इंटरनेट के साथ बहुत अच्छी मिलती है, लेकिन जब ये बात महाविद्यालय कॉलेज पे या फिर एक रूरल एरिया के पास आ जाती है तो एक बहुत बड़ा डिवाइड हमें देखने को मिलता है। ग्रामीण बच्चों का एक्सेस जो है वो उनके साथ नहीं हो पा रहा। लेकिन मेरा मानना है कि अगर टीचर की पढ़ाने की इच्छा शक्ति है, स्टूडेंट पढ़ना चाहता है और सरकार जो एजुकेशन सेक्टर है उसको बढ़ाना चाहती है, अगर तीनों की इच्छा शक्ति हो तो इस चीज़ को आराम से पार पाया जा सकता है। इसके अलावा जैसे ग्रामीण इलाकों में व्यक्तियों के पास लैपटॉप आदि जो अफोर्डेबल नहीं होते हैं, तो हम एक टीवी चैनल्स को, जैसे बीच में गवर्नमेंट प्रयास भी कर रही है कि टीवी चैनल्स के माध्यम से हम ये लर्निंग दे सकते हैं, तो ये एक अच्छा प्रयास हो सकता है इस चैलेंज को दूर करने के लिए। हालांकि इसमें पेंडेमिक में हम देखें तो शिक्षा क्षेत्र में हमारे पास सिर्फ एक ही ऑप्शन बचा है और वो है ऑनलाइन क्लास का। तो इसके लिए हमारे टीचर्स को भी थोड़ा ऑक्यूपाइड होने की जरूरत है, उनको टेक्नो फ्रेंडली होना पड़ेगा ताकि हम इस चीज़ को और बढ़िया से प्रोवाइड करा सकें, ज़्यादा ट्यूटोरियल बना सकें। अब जैसे ग्रामीण एरिया में बात की जाती है कि वो टेक्नो फ्रेंडली नहीं है, तो फिर उनको व्हाट्सअप, फेसबुक, टिकटॉक ये किसने चलाना सिखाया? इसके तो कोई उनको पहले गाइडेंस नहीं दी गई थी, तो फिर गूगल मीट की या फिर इनकी गूगल क्लासेस की क्यों देने की कहाँ जरूरत है? वो भी सीख सकते हैं अगर उनकी इच्छा शक्ति है। अगर विद्यार्थी पढ़ना चाहता है तो आराम से पढ़ सकता है। हाँ, कुछ प्रयास की आवश्यकता है, कुछ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की कमी है, उसको दूर करके इसको ज़्यादा बढ़िया किया जा सकता है।
So when we talk about COVID-19 pandemic, it has brought so many changes, and which was unthinkable few months ago. It was unthinkable that IT sector and many other sectors, they would work from home, or you talk about the crash of the hospitality and the travel industry, or you talk about the mass exodus of migrant labor in India, immobility of labor, but now mobility of work. And as pointed out by many distinguished panelists, we have in education sector the online classes, which has started for the schools, for the higher education sector also. So many of the panelists have spoken about the higher education, but I think so I will like to support what Dr. Sunil Punia was just mentioning about the rural sector. See, I was telling that we have distinguished higher education institutes, but when you talk about the public education in India, I think so now it's the time for the government to spend or to invest in our public education. When you talk about the government schools, now government runs its midday meals program in order as an incentive for the rural children to come to the schools. Now with this change environment, it will be very, very difficult to, I think so, it will be very difficult for the people to maintain, or the government to maintain, the nutritional needs of the for the rural children because of the online classes, because of this digital divide between the private education and the public education. That we need to build the psychological support system to maintain the mental well-being of our children, because of the total change scenario of education, and as everybody knows that it is going to stay, it's not going to be, we need to reskill, relearn everything for the online education. So that is my view, that is my views on the challenges of remote working in education sector.
I would like to pointing something actually in case of online education, that is the affordability and accessibility. Whether this online is affordable to all, because we have to think about the equality concept. So it should be equitable. Everyone should, it should be accessible to all of the students. In some remote areas, in backward areas where actually internet connectivity or electricity problem we have. So what about those students which are living in those areas? So how they will access to these internet services? In this pandemic situation, a panic situation is going on, and actually the guardians are also not, they are reluctant to sending their students to the school. So I think these types of webinars and discussions should be going on to the teachers who are engaging in the school level, and actually orientation program is also needed for those teachers.
But now in an urban area, we have a students-teacher ratio, 120 students, one teacher is there. That is also one of the biggest challenge. Now mass promotion is given, not only 120, those who backlog of the colleges who didn't clear earlier, they also will be there. Especially we don't have a space that is enough space to accommodate more than 120 students in one classroom. Now we are talking about the online classroom. Online classroom, earlier during offline, we have throughout the year we have been teaching to the students, and students used to learn little but just muck up the learning process only, and before the exam That is a question bank we used to given to them by the university only as recommended us. A part of that, grace mark is also the system is also good.
जैसा कि हम जानते हैं कि पूरा विश्व कोविड-19 बीमारी से जूझ रहा है, इसके कारण हम पिछले 3-4 महीने से लॉकडाउन की स्थिति में हैं। सरकार ने सूझबूझ से निर्णय लिए हैं, पर एजुकेशनिस्ट और नागरिक के रूप में हमारी जिम्मेदारी बढ़ गई है। हमें शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में नए सिरे से सोचने को मजबूर किया है और इसका उच्च शिक्षा पर भी प्रभाव पड़ा है। हमें जागरूकता के साथ उच्च शिक्षा के नए अवसरों और चुनौतियों को भली भांति समझना होगा। जैसा कि हमारे को पैनलिस्ट पांडे सर और विशेष तौर से सुनील पूनिया जी ने जो बताया है, तो उनके लिए मैं धन्यवाद दूंगा कि उन्होंने बिल्कुल ग्रास रूट बातें जो बताई है, उसमें कुछ मैं ऐड करना चाहूँगा। और पहला पॉइंट इसमें ये रखना चाहूँगा कि ई लर्निंग की गति से आगे बढ़ाना होगा। ई लर्निंग को गति से आगे बढ़ाना, ये हालांकि ये प्रक्रिया शुरू हो गई थी, लेकिन अब पिछले 4 महीने से हमें बहुत ही इसके ऊपर फोकस रह के इसको आगे बढ़ाना होगा, क्योंकि भारत एक विकासशील देश है, इसकी अपनी समस्याएं हैं। तो कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव जो एजुकेशन है वो हमें सभी तक पहुंचानी है, शिक्षा का लोकतांत्रिकरण करना है। तो इसलिए ये बहुत ज़रूरी है कि हमें ई लर्निंग कंटेंट को लोगों तक पहुंचाना होगा और उसके ऊपर ज़्यादा ध्यान देना होगा, फोकस रहना होगा। ईजी टू एक्सेसिबल लाइब्रेरी हमें बनानी होगी। आजकल की जो लाइब्रेरी है, लाइब्रेरी कहते तो बहुत है कि इतने पाठक है उसके, लेकिन इजी एक्सेसिबल नहीं है, सबके लिए नहीं है। पासवर्ड में भी फंस जाते हैं, उसके पता नहीं क्या क्या ऐसी प्रॉब्लम आती है जिसमें इजी एक्सेसिबल नहीं है एजुकेशन, और लाइब्रेरी तो बिल्कुल रूल नहीं है। तो ये ज़्यादा फोकस के हमें ध्यान रखना होगा। कुछ आगे पॉइंट्स और है कि ज्ञान को बांधना नहीं है, ओपन एक्सेस टू ऑल करना होगा। वर्चुअल लर्नर को भी हमें पहचानना होगा। कौन है वर्चुअल लर्नर, हमें ये पता होना चाहिए। 2 वे कम्युनिकेशन होना चाहिए, ठीक है, और कैपेसिटी कितनी है, ये सारा ध्यान देना होगा। इसके अलावा जैसे को पैनलिस्ट ने कहा कि मौके सबको बराबर मिलने चाहिए, ऐसे नहीं है, भेदभाव होगा। अब दिल्ली में तो इंटरनेट बढ़िया आ रहा है, फिर भी यहाँ प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, लेकिन गाँव में आज ही मेरे पास एक मोबाइल में आया है कि ऑनलाइन क्लासेस गरीब बच्चों के लिए बनी मुसीबत, प्रतिभा पर संसाधन का अभाव भारी। तो ये बड़ी देखो समस्या है। एक तरफ हम बात कर रहे हैं इस तरह से, दूसरी तरफ ये है, तो इसके बारे में भी हमें ध्यान रखना होगा, फोकस करना होगा। इंटरनेट और कंटेंट के ऊपर बहुत ध्यान देना होगा।
हमारा सिलेबस है या कैरिकुलम है, एक तो पुराना है। ये कॉमर्स सब्जेक्ट की तो बात करता हूँ तो ये लगभग 20 या 30 ईयर्स ओल्ड है, और आज की जो पेंडेमिक है या महामारी के दौरान जो चेंजेस आए हैं उसके अकॉर्डिंग सिलेबस चेंज करने की बहुत ज़्यादा आवश्यकता है, इसको प्रैक्टिकल बनाने की आवश्यकता है। दूसरी चीज़ क्या, यूनिवर्सिटी को या गवर्नमेंट लेवल पर हमें जो ई बुक्स हैं, ई बुक्स तो हमारे पास अवेलेबल हैं, बल्कि उनको पब्लिश कर देना पड़ेगा प्रैक्टिकल अप्रोच में। जैसे हम बात कर रहे हैं कि रूरल एरिया में बच्चे के पास कनेक्टिविटी नहीं है, अगर हम उसको बुक्स प्रोवाइड करा देते हैं तो ये प्रॉब्लम काफ़ी हद तक दूर हो जाएगी। कि अगर मान लीजिए किसी दिन क्लास में नहीं जुड़ पाते हैं तो वो ई बुक्स और या प्रिंटेड बुक्स के माध्यम से उस कैरिकुलम को कवर कर सकते हैं। दूसरी चीज, जो कैरिकुलम में यूजलेस या ओल्ड सिलेबस हो गया है उसको हटा देना चाहिए।
सबसे बड़ी चुनौती तो उनको है लाइन जोड़ने में, डिजिटल कनेक्टिविटी की। उस बात का जो है इस वक्त हम एविडेंस भी देख रहे हैं हमारे सामने। खैर, we've heard a lot of opinions, a lot of solutions have come our way, and a lot of challenges still remain unresolved. Perhaps that will be a very unique part of our new opportunities. We'll take a break right now. When we come back, our second half of our section will be on the new opportunities. Stay. As what we promised, our second half is going to be even more challenging, because that's going to evoke a sense of thought. You've got to think now and provide us a list of the new opportunities. And urge each of you to keep your opportunities short, crisp, and to the point, so that the takeaway will be far more quicker, will be far more evocative, and be far more inspiring. But first, let's take a quick round-up and a comment from Professor Alok Pandey. Professor Pandey, you've heard a lot from all our teachers, our principals, the head of departments from the rural India, from urban India. You've heard their challenges, you've heard their solutions. I'd like you to first make an analysis of what are the important points that you found were key takeaways for you, and then move on to the new opportunities. Professor Pandey, over to you.
Whether online education works for whom and how does it work? Whether rural India will be able to tackle it, whether education would be equitably, education as a wealth can be equitably distributed or not, whether higher education versus secondary and primary education and online learning. Today, HRD ministry has issued guidelines for schools that the classes cannot be for more than 3 hours, that you would need to have a break. Of course, there are no guidelines. One of the my colleague from Mumbai, madam said that her daughter studies at NIT, and she says that she only puts the phones on, and if engineering students are studying like this, how would commerce students would study? Because the challenge is the education is not attracting the students in this mode. It's actually a waste of time for them. But that's how it is. As one colleague from Aligarh, Professor Agarwal, very eloquently mentioned that our examination systems are still age-old, our curriculums are 30-year-old. You ask a student in this country of commerce, has he heard about IFRS and IFRS applicability? Are state governments applying changing courses? I can tell you that, this 3-hour exams and those 5-question guidebooks which are available all across the country, entire country of, you say gross enrollment ratio 26%, I'll count it as around 1 out of 140 crores, say 28 crore people going to higher education, and everybody's passing an exam through a guidebook. We are trying to, at IMS Ghaziabad, experiment as to how we can deliver the best content, practical content. How can I make somebody learn financial modeling? How can I make somebody learn how to check plagiarism in his research paper? How can I make somebody learn a programming language? All these practical aspects will come in, and that is the final big opportunity. So I hope that as we move forward, we'll have fair amount of thinking and introspection on this. A long-term plan would be laid out, investment would be laid out, the heartland would come near to the urban areas, and we will deliver education which is applied education rather than just talking and students just switching off their mobile and watching television.
Very quickly going to the opportunities, because many of the things have been already highlighted by Professor Pandey. First point is like Professor Bandhan was telling us that online education is going to be the new normal. Yes, it is the new normal. I say rise in blended learning, and I always say that it is going to be a marriage between physical and digital classroom. We call it a hybrid model we have to adapt now. The second is the learning management system to be the new norm. Like Professor Bandhan was telling 7 Cs, I tell it 4 E's, that e-resources, e-content, e-library, e-interaction. That is the need of the hour. The need is to develop e-libraries and provide free remote access to the students with e-classroom facilities, on which, let me tell you, Chetan, once again, we at IMS Ghaziabad is very proactive and given remote access to all our students for accessing the digital library. Third, improvement in learning materials. Let me tell you, my dear friends, normal PPT, conventional PPT format is not going to work. It needs to be more of virtual interaction and experiential learning.
I'd like to start off with 2 aphorisms that I thoroughly believe in. Number 1, challenges are, always tend to prove a blessing in disguise. That's the first thing I thoroughly believe in. And the second thing that I'd like to say here is breakups are startups. So when I'm talking of breakups, I would like to say we need to break up from our, conservative, traditional tools, techniques, pedagogy, and we need to, indulge in new startups. That is, we need to take up the new skills, collaborative tools, resources, adoption of new values. So that's the first thing I need to see as an opportunity. And secondly, we need to work on our students' IQ, EQ, and that's the intelligence quotient and the emotional quotient. And we've been studying till now that both of them are equally important for the success of a student. But as of now, I would say there are two more cues to it. Number 3, spiritual quotient. And number 4, we also need to work on the adaptation quotient. And as I mentioned last time also, Charles Darwin clearly said it's the survival of the fittest. As of now, it's not the survival of the fittest. It's going to be the survival of the most flexible. So that's the second thing. Third thing, if I were to say that I have to make the education system fit. So fit as an F, I think we need fiscal reforms. I think we need institutional and infrastructural reforms. And T, I think we need a whole lot of technical reforms as well. That will make our educational system fit.
First of all, for higher education, the opportunities to offer online degree courses. So the government has come out with the directives that now the institutions, universities can offer online degree courses where a student has an opportunity to take 2 degrees, one in the regular mode and one in the online mode. The second is again the opportunities for the private and the foreign universities for creating job-ready online program or curriculum, as already mentioned by Professor Pandey. Then we have, as been discussed over the time, that we need to really opportunities for the training and development of teachers. Their reskilling is a big opportunities to introspect ourselves to teach better online to the students. And the last one which I want to mention is we need to have more SWAYAM-like platforms for the MOOC courses to be offered to the students.
Within this milieu, I think it is high time government set up a central repository of courses as well as books and literature which can be accessed by anyone across India online. I think this is a great cost-cutting opportunity where government can make sure that education reaches in all forms, in terms of books, in terms of documents, and in terms of videos and courses to everyone around. But how that will reach the rural masses? Again, digital divide problem will come up. So I think what Atalji did in 90s by building the Golden Quadrilateral project, this government has a great opportunity by creating information highways which connect the entire India, and it will have such huge collateral benefits in addition to the benefits that it will accrue to the rural masses for accessing education that I think one can only imagine. Online hybrid is the way forward, which can drastically reduce the infrastructure cost, the working capital cost. Teachers will not come to college, the students will not come to college, the institution saves a lot in terms of electricity bills, in terms of seating arrangement. There's so many things that the institution is going to save, and all that cost cutting can be passed on to the student. And this is where the future of India lies, the rural masses who do not have affordability but who have much higher talent than perhaps many of us.
और जैसे इस सिचुएशन की अगर पेंडेमिक की तुलना पिछले वाले सालों की घटनाओं से करें, चाहे वो दूसरा वर्ल्ड वार हो या फाइनेंशियल क्राइसिस हो या इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस, आर्थिक मंदी थी, इन सब के अंदर जो सोसाइटी को हम जो इकोनॉमिस्ट है उनको कह सकते हैं, आप जो रेगुलेटर हैं उनको कह सकते हैं, पॉलिसी मेकर्स को कह सकते हैं, उन्होंने हमेशा एक अच्छे तरीके से रेस्पॉन्ड किया, जो कि उन घटनाओं के दौरान जैसे अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड का बनना, सेबी की स्थापना होना, यूएन की स्थापना, वर्ल्ड बैंक की स्थापना, IMF वगैरह, तो हर चीज़ को संभालने के लिए सोसाइटी ने रेस्पॉन्ड किया और इकोनॉमी की केयर की है। तो हम मान के चलते हैं कि हम इस सिचुएशन से बहुत जल्दी पार पा लेंगे। और एक फीडबैक, स्टूडेंट को कंटेंट तो मिलता है लेकिन फीडबैक की अभी तक डेवलप इतना नहीं कर पाए हैं हमारे कॉलेजेस के हिसाब से, मैं बता रहा हूँ। तो एक ऐसा भी प्लेटफॉर्म हम बनाए जिससे स्टूडेंट का फीडबैक भी आता रहे, असेसमेंट होता रहे, वो जो ऑनलाइन लर्निंग है उसको थोड़ा सीरियस ले। बाकी गवर्नमेंट की सहायता से जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे उस पर काम किया जाएगा तो हम और बेहतर प्रदर्शन कर पाएंगे।
हमें ई लर्निंग के लिए बढ़ावा देना होगा, सबको तैयार होना होगा, क्योंकि सिचुएशन तो हो गई, लेकिन सिचुएशन से जैसे पार पाना है तो पार पाने के लिए आपको उसको अडॉप्ट ही करना होगा, और कोई रास्ता भी नहीं है। जैसे सुनील जी ने कहा, ई कंटेंट है, उसकी क्वालिटी होनी चाहिए, बढ़िया होनी चाहिए। और लास्ट में ये मैं जोड़ना चाहूँगा कि जो कॉपीराइट इश्यूज है उसका सिंप्लीफिकेशन होना जरूरी है, ये बहुत महत्वपूर्ण बात है।
As we have to learn to live with Corona, so there are many challenges, but it also gives up some opportunity. We all are hearing about that government promoting the Digital India concept. So I think the Corona gives us the opportunity to make the best use of it. Prior Corona, if we see, the mobile phones are using by teenagers for a entertainment purpose, but now they are using it for education purpose, which is a positive sign of Corona, I think. And also it gives us the big opportunity for the web developers to develop the various webs for the education.
ऑनलाइन सिस्टम तो है ही है सर, इसके साथ हम ऑनलाइन सिस्टम के साथ साथ ऑफलाइन सिस्टम को भी अडॉप्ट रखें। एक्चुअली क्या है, गवर्नमेंट जो है अगर हमें असाइनमेंट पब्लिकेशन की फैसिलिटीज उपलब्ध करा दे तो हम ऑफलाइन स्टडी मटेरियल स्टूडेंट्स को प्रोवाइड करें और उसमें असाइनमेंट या जो भी हम प्रोजेक्ट देना चाहें उसके माध्यम से हम उसको स्टूडेंट्स को दें, जैसे कि इग्नो करता है। इग्नो ऑनलाइन फैसिलिटीज तो देता ही देता है, इसके अलावा ऑफलाइन फैसिलिटीज भी देता है। बच्चों को एक टाइम के बाद असाइनमेंट जमा करने पड़ते हैं। इसी तरीके से जो हमारी ऑनलाइन एजुकेशन हो रही है, रोज रेगुलर क्लासेस भी चलें, इसके अलावा बच्चे असाइनमेंट भी जमा करें।
They fail to answer you the exact meaning of a business and a marketing. Or a business, they'll say buying and selling. That's it. That is not a buying and selling. That is a trade. This is what the education is given to them only. Muck up only that they learn out of this. Nothing they learn. Few words they learn appear for the exam in a commerce faculty, right. The commerce stream in an urban area. What I suggest that 3I formula is supposed to be included in the syllabus. That is a 3I, 1I for imagination to be developed among the students. That's supposed to be given in innovation activities. Innovation should be grow and supposed to be initiative.
So as I often say on edumate.tv, we've come to the end of yet another very informative, inspiring and insightful seminar. And a little while back, we heard about several C's. I'll add 3 more C's to our conversation. The big C, COVID, can only be fought with 3 C's. Being collaborative, being creative, and being corrective. Thank you for joining us. As I always say, to better educate, you'd better edumate.